Oh my God, your poor dad.
You know that it's our time. These are the best days of our lives. Just raise your glasses high. This one's for you tonight. Is that how we're gonna start?
Hell yeah.
Should we do the intro?
Yeah,
You can't choose you can't choose your sisters, but you can choose your mistress and your podcast. So thank you for joining us and being the fourth Brant sister. Jesus criminy.
Sorry.
Wow. Okay, so it is 10:30 at night.
I have to post this so everyone knows.
Okay, you have to tag your poor dad and it's me, Jade B.
I wish Roman's dog hair wasn't on the mic, but that's okay.
So like I said, 10:30 at night, we just watched Vanderpump Rules and Ariana's Watch What Happens Live. How do you feel? I have so many notes here. Okay, initial thoughts. How did the episode overall leave you?
Wanting more.
Me too.
But
I'm grateful for what we had.
so grateful.
I'm
I cried.
Oh yeah.
A little tear went down.
I cried multiple times.
I think I cried twice.
I think I cried 3 times.
3?
Yeah, we'll get into it. I am just so grateful that the Bravo producers picked up the cameras and filmed this.
Yeah, they were like, you thought this was over.
It's not.
Mm-mm.
And since Sandoval and Raquel, you lied during this whole season when this is a season showing your life and you put the blame on Tom Schwartz, you're going to have to film.
What I thought was really annoying is that she wasn't
in it very much.
Yeah, like
okay, let's get into it.
Okay,
I think we need
go.
to just get into it. Okay, so the intro, chills. Okay, this is what I have written. Intro, chills, nonchalant from Raquel. So I'm assuming that's when Sheena was like, when I found out Raquel was so nonchalant, which would have sent me over the fucking edge.
Well, and that's
so it starts out and it's like March 3rd. Watch What Happens Live. They show that Sheena and Raquel were on Watch What Happens Live. They show the shocked face when they both said, okay, who's hotter, Schwartz or Sandoval on 3? 1, 2, 3. They both said Sandoval. Sheena was like, what? And then Sheena's like, I found out that, or Raquel was on the phone with Ariana and I said, what's going on? She said, Sandoval and I had an affair. And she said she was so nonchalant. And that is what, if that was my friend, if it was my best friend who had been cheated on and my supposed friend who was acting so like laissez-faire about it, I would be fucking furious too.
So do you think she punched her?
I think that there was contact with the face.
I think that she was explaining a little too much about how she can't make a fist. Because if I make a fist this way, I'm going to break my nails. If I make a fist this way, it's like, you know, when you are trying to like, you're like overcompensating. Yes. That's kind of what I think it was. I wish I remembered exactly what Raquel said, but she said something when she was, the fucking dreaded scene when they're in her apartment, when Sandoval and Raquel and Rachel are in her apartment. And she's like, he's like, let me see.
Oh my God.
And she's like, yeah, and it hurts. And then she says, yeah, I got punched and I took it like a champ, or like I took it on the chin, or she like made it sound like, oh, and I sat there and I took it kind of thing.
Yeah.
Bitch, you sat there and you took it and then you filed a restraining order.
That's not taking it.
No, that's you being a pussy ass bitch. Excuse my language. I have a lot of feelings. This whole thing has brought up a lot of feelings.
This whole episode summoned pre-therapy Paige.
Pre-therapy Paige is back, baby.
Okay, so we start out the episode with this like chilling, just like overall kind of like it's Tom, it's Ariana, and it's Sheena. Then it goes straight to Tom and Ariana talking to each other, which I did not expect going straight to that. So this must have been their initial.
And it was like, what, 3 days, 2 days later, 3 days later?
I think it was 2 days later. And so they obviously had their confrontation. Then this was like kind of their final nail in the coffin confrontation, which I didn't know. I didn't know that this was like the last time that they had spoken until the reunion.
The very first thing I wrote down was Sandoval saying, "It's real because she treats me with fucking respect." I don't know how she had the control within herself to not act out or lash out in any. I don't know if it's because the cameras were there. I don't think I would have noticed the cameras. I would have seen red. I would have jumped on him like a fucking spider monkey and just gone off. Like, I cannot. It's real. First of all, it's not fucking real. It's real. You're still giving Ariana digs when she doesn't deserve any fucking digs.
Yeah. Why are you putting salt in the wound? He's like, I never wanted to hurt you.
I'm sorry you had to see that. And she said, why don't you be sorry you fucking did it? Because, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was good. That was good. I'm sorry you had to see that. Don't be sorry you had to see that. You should be sorry you did it.
I'm sorry you had to see that. And then whenever it was his interview, he's like, yeah, I usually delete those things.
Clearly.
But I didn't have time that day. You are a fucking monster. You know what? Let's just like, this all comes back to the iPad. Remember, people, this is such a similar story to the iPad, because if you remember, Tyson thought, well, he had deleted those things off of his phone, and then the cloud remembers all, and it was on the iPad. If she had his iPad, the stories she would know.
And we all know Tom Sandoval would not be smart enough to know how to disconnect the cloud from the iPad.
Yeah, no one knows how to do that. Literally nobody knows.
No, that's why, like, you can't be a cheater and have an iCloud account.
Or be on Family Share.
I thought it was, okay, I did get a little choked up when she said, I loved you when you had nothing. Like, he really did have nothing. She said that he had like a 1997 Toyota Corolla. And she's like, oh, you get a little bit of money. This girl's enamored with you. She said Raquel searches for her identity in men, which she nailed that.
100%.
And I think that Tom has this like big personality, and he can't. Ariana is just a contender that he can't go toe to toe with. He's not smart enough to battle with Ariana. So when he pushes back on her, or when he says something and she pushes back, he doesn't like what she has to say because it's not like 100% agreeing with him. So he gets frustrated. His ego gets hurt. And then who's there? Little puppy dog Raquel, who is like, oh, she has no personality. She has no identity.
Well, and this goes back to earlier we talked about who's more evil.
Yes.
Sandoval
that's a big
or Raquel.
question.
And no, here's why it's Sandoval. Because exactly what you just said, Raquel gets her validation from men. Right. Sandoval knows that. So he plays into that. He acts and says and does what he needs to do to manipulate her, to make her eat out of the palm of his hand, to eat his little pee-pee out of the palm of his hand. And she is enamored. She is a puppy dog, right?
Right.
But that's why he is the most evil. She's evil because she is an actual psychopath and doesn't have feelings or empathy or anything, right?
Yeah.
But she is he's at the very tippy top and she's right under.
It's so... Yeah, he is definitely more evil in this situation because, like, you have more loyalty to your partner, but then at the same time...
And because he is literally repeating history.
100%. But then also the other side of it is that Raquel has no friends. And she repeats over and over, these are my people. I finally found my friends. And you're just like, and this is... you can say that and then also knowingly be fucking over one of your friends, and you know that it's going to have repercussions because Sheena and Ariana are like a package deal. They're best friends.
When Raquel...
we'll get to that.
What?
When Raquel says she has no one. Oh, what?
Well, when Raquel says that she's never had sex like that, she's never had sex like that. She's never had sex with someone she loves. She's never had sex like that before. Like, almost like, who could blame her, right?
Right.
I truly wanted to jump at the TV screen.
Yes.
I want to strangle her.
Yeah. So another thing that in the interaction between Tom and Ariana that I wrote down was that he was saying, you know, the relationship wasn't the same. Excuse. And so Ariana just kept saying, so then you fuck my friend? Okay, so then you fuck my friend?
Well, and Sheena said exactly. He's like, but she threatened to kill herself. Okay, great. Then you
fuck her friend?
Then you call her family. You call us. We pick up the pieces that you leave.
Yes. That's when I cried. Because I was
that's when I cried too.
I was like, she's right. Like, the one thing that women, we need to remember is that our men will come and go. And women are always, you have to keep your friends so fucking close. And this like also reminds me, because I'm like in this with Mr. Roberts, I'm like, you know, in my little like la boyfriend cloud. And I'm like, holy fuck, like you never know, like nothing is guaranteed, but your friendships are the thing that you need to at least like nurture the most in your life, because men come and go.
Yeah. And I mean, even with Tyson, that was such a fucked up relationship, but I was so, when it ended, he ended it with me. And I am actually really thankful for how strict he was with the breakup, because I was so manipulated at that point. I thought, well, like, this is love. Like, this is what you've been telling me. Like, we're in it to win it kind of thing. And he drew such a straight line of like, we are broken up. Mm-hmm. We are not, like, it was very clear. And he had also reached out to some of my friends to be like, she's probably going to need you. You know what I mean? And like, that is the one thing I appreciate. Well, first thing is,
wait, are we saying that Tom Sandoval can like learn a thing or two from your abusive ex-boyfriend?
Well, not anymore, but he could have. He could have if he listened to this podcast.
Yeah, so here's a hot tip for everyone. Maybe you should listen to your poor dad, because you might learn a thing or two.
So what this tells me is Sandoval's the actual devil. And then he has these little like evil disciples, and Tyson's one of them. So he's just not as pure
He's
evil.
the monkey with wings.
He's a monkey with wings.
Okay, so then we go to Tom. The first time we see Tom Schwartz and Tom Sandoval together post Scandoval breaking. And it is just the most pathetic thing I've ever seen. Tom Sandoval clutching his best friend with his little white nail polish and his little empty tears, those dry little cries. And of course, Tom Schwartz, the male Libra, which girls, male Libras are trouble, just to let you know. Okay. And he says, oh, I'm not going to beat you while you're down, but this is bad. This is real bad.
Well, this is real bad. Hey, Bubba.
It's like, of course you're not going to beat him while you're down. Like, you don't do anything.
The emotion Sandoval showed to Tom was the fuck, I'm sorry I got caught, bro emotion.
Yeah, like, I'm sorry you did this to our money.
Yeah, I really thought I was going to be smart enough to not be caught. And then the emotion he showed with Lisa is like, fuck, not only did I get caught, but this is so real and this is bigger than I anticipated, and I'm in way over my head.
Right. I think he really was having a panic attack with Lisa.
Yeah, not because of Ariana though.
No, it's like, exactly. It wasn't because of how he hurt Ariana. It's how he hurt every part of his life.
Because his excuse was, I can't believe this is going to be the last conversation I had with Ariana. No, that's not why you're having your panic attack. You're having your panic attack because you're realizing this is not going away as easy as it did with when you did this to Kristen.
Right. Because he slid right into a really good, likable situation with Ariana, because like Ariana said, she's his ride or die. She covered for him. And one thing is like, okay, Bravo fans are fucking crazy. They went from a 4.8 star review to 1 star in like the matter of a day.
You have to know, you got your rise from these fans.
Yeah.
You can have your downfall from these fans.
And that is so true, which is like, please don't ever leave us, your poor dad listeners. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, we had some downfalls. We won't talk about it.
Yeah,
because we appreciate that you're still here. And we love Selena.
And we love Selena. We now realize how wrong we were.
Our public apology.
Please, if you guys haven't
if there's two things you should know about us, we love Selena and love Ariana Grande.
Exactly.
No, I meant Ariana Madix.
Yeah. And Grande while we're at it. I mean, another Latina queen.
And just while we're talking about
okay, my hands are sweating.
Taylor Swift.
Okay. And obviously Taylor Swift, every woman except for the problematic ones. Okay.
Anyways.
Okay, so he keeps the two things that really, really fucking irked me was that he kept talking about his deep connection with Raquel. And how different Ariana was.
Hold on, let me see if I have something there. Oh yeah, Sandy saying him and Raquel have a deep connection. I drew an arrow. Barf.
That's Paige's. That's notes. All you got. Barf.
Yeah, because he said it so many times. Like that was the one line that he was like, I should say that. I should say what's gonna make it better is if we have a deep connection. So I'm just gonna tell everyone we just have a really deep connection.
And I thought it was really interesting when they broke I loved all the breaking of the fourth wall in this, which it wasn't like so like overt, but it was very like well done. And Ariana was talking to one of her friends. She's like, yeah, my team talked to Tom's team and they're framing it as it was like a loveless situation and blah, blah, blah. And I thought that was like really interesting to hear that from Ariana's perspective, because we see it as fans. We see how these teams craft these responses and they have to. That's their job. But like, it's weird seeing it from Ariana's perspective.
Lest we not forget. They're still living in the same
fucking house
and not communicating with each other.
Yes, because Ariana is like a boundary queen, which we will get to.
Thank God. Wait, also, can we get to the point where he said, all she had to do was follow me?
Okay, that was the next thing I wanted to talk about. Thank God. The way Tom Schwartz finally, for once in his goddamn life, says something of importance when he said, don't put the responsibility on her with that. Thank you.
The literal only thing he's done right.
The only thing he's ever said where I was like, yes, that is so fucking true. Don't put the responsibility of her finding out your affair. All she had to do was look. What do you mean? All she had to do was follow it. I'm so triggered.
She didn't follow me. Why the fuck should she have to follow you for 9 fucking years?
And then
what?
For 9 fucking years. Why does she always have to follow you?
Why does she have to follow you? Why does she still have to be suspicious of you after 9 years? And then you're like, things haven't been good for 4 or 5 years, and you thought 4 or 5 years ago wasn't the good time to talk about it? You waited another 4 or 5 years before this shit happened? Are you fucking kidding me? If Miami Girl's not at the reunion, I'm gonna be pissed. If this question mark girl is not at the reunion, and you know what? While we're at it, bring the lineup of girls, because you know it's not just those two.
Oh, 100%.
You know it's not.
That was just a mic drop from you. But it's funny that he said that, because on Watch What Happens Live, Ariana said that she looked through his phone. So it's like, oh,
which is also why he said, I'm usually so good at deleting those things. Fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot.
Why? Okay, so
Man, I am so triggered by this.
I know. It truly reminds me of Mark, because I remember we put some boundaries in place in our relationship where it was like, okay.
That he crossed.
Oh, 100%. It was like, okay, don't spend money on your drug of choice.
And here's my boundary. Don't spend money on drugs.
Yes. And he said, okay, I won't. And then he opened up another way, not to get like too deep into it, but like, you can always find a way if you're an adult to find a way to hide money from somebody.
Right.
So he said, well, you weren't checking that account.
It's your fault.
It's my fault. I wasn't checking that one account. Oh, sorry.
You weren't stalking every single account.
I wasn't stalking our
every statement that you guys had.
Our cash flow in and
individually
out every single day. Like, oh my God, this is my fault. So it just, that really, really fucking triggered me. Okay, so let's get to the part where the girls finally are together the first time at Ariana's house, which, like, you know, that really is like, it kind of reminded me of like Gigi for some reason.
Okay.
Because I think like Gigi and her friends, they were in the 70s and 80s together where men were just like worse than they even are now. And like they've had to put up with a lot of fucking shit and they had each other's backs, and like just hearing them like, you know, deal with that. And it just reminded me of that. We can get into that. Maybe we'll have Mom on. She can tell us like the dirty secrets.
That really reminded me of when my college boyfriend, who I made the losery basket for, who cheated on me.
Losery basket of shit.
Yeah, losery basket of shit. Me and one of my best friends, we were in a weird place at the moment. We lived together, but then at this point I had moved out of our apartment. So we were in the same apartment building, but different apartments. And this boyfriend cheats on me, and I don't have any of my sisters nearby. And she was the closest person to me, even though we were in a weird spot. I still vividly remember I'm sprinting through the halls of this huge apartment complex, like banging on her door, and she opens the door and I collapse on her kitchen floor sobbing, and she just like sits down next to me and like hugs me, kind of holds me, and she's like, it's okay. Like, that is, you need your friends in moments like that.
100%. And okay, so the Sheena and Ariana hug got me. The Ariana and Katie hug got me. It's just like when you have like a true friendship like that and they are hurting so much for you, that just is what like I think was making me super emotional.
Yeah.
A couple things that stood out to me was that Sandoval, the recording of him and Raquel, which I can't believe they weren't talking about how they were like masturbating.
I was wondering why they didn't say that.
I know.
Are they not allowed to on like I
feel like they've
TV?
said, I mean, they say like bang and stuff, but like they said that
banging themselves.
I know, like they said Lala went down on Ariana. Like, I can't believe they didn't say that. So I don't know what the recording.
There had to be. I wonder if it was like legal reasons or something. Like,
yeah.
I don't know what those legal reasons would be.
Well, clearly Raquel is very litigious.
No, Raquel's just a dumbass that probably has one smart person in her life.
Yeah.
Her sister.
Don't we all? So he was at Schwartz when he was doing that, which is so weird. Like, who does that at your friend's house?
Who does that at their
That's why
house?
Schwartz and Sandoval are so weird.
Especially, like, Schwartz is, like, they're not in their house anymore.
I know, like, he's in his, like, sad little apartment that has, it's a hoarder's den.
He probably only has a one bedroom. Sandoval's probably on the couch.
Okay, that's gross. Okay, another thing is that when Ariana was pressing Raquel for details, which later we learned on Watch What Happens Live that Raquel wasn't giving Ariana any details, and that Ariana had to beg for details, which, like, fuck you, Raquel, for that. Like, fuck you for that.
Well, that was like the girl, again, the college boy who cheated. I had already sneakily taken her phone number from his phone like weeks beforehand, because I just like knew that something was going to happen with this girl, even though I didn't have proof yet. But I was like, I might need this phone number for later. So I got it. And then when I had the confirmation, because, you know, I showed up with the losery basket of shit and he was at her house, whatever. Then I called her the next day and she was startled that I had her phone number, and then I called her and I was like, I said something along the lines of, if you're going to be a big girl and cheat on me with my boyfriend or whatever, or cheat with my boyfriend, then you can be a big girl and tell me what you did. And if you don't, I'm telling your boyfriend. And then I sent the screenshot of the Facebook message that I never sent.
Okay, This whole episode is one big trigger.
So I just like understand demanding answers, and I want you to tell me every fucking thing that if you're a girl's girl, if you care about women at all, you will tell me every fucking thing that you did. And she's like, she's like, lady, you're scaring me.
Okay, I'm literally dying. Okay, so yeah, that was crazy. And then Raquel couldn't even give her the respect to just say like, yeah, we fucked in
which
my
is
car.
crazy because, you know, apparently Raquel's just giving Tom all the respect.
Exactly. I thought Raquel was a respectful queen.
Not to women.
Not to women.
Not to Ariana. Our queen.
Our queen. Yeah, like nothing but respect for our queen, Ariana.
Not Grande, but both.
But actually both. Please do not incite the Grande Meisters.
No,
what are they called? The Grandinators?
I don't know.
Let us know in the comments.
The Aries?
The Aries.
Aries.
So Raquel's a liar. And then when Sheena talks about shoving Raquel and she's like crying, you can tell. I felt that so hard because like I don't get like so upset when people fuck with me. Like I get upset in a different way, but like I see fucking red when people fuck with like my sisters or my best friends. Like if somebody did that to you, I would fucking slap them. There's like no way. Like I would punch them. If I had nails, I would slap them. If I couldn't make a fist, I would slap. There would be contact. My hand would make its way to their face.
Here's the thing about me is if that were me,
you'd be dead.
The restraining order would be, I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be like, you know what? That's fair.
I wouldn't be fighting. I'd be like, yeah, that tracks. You should hide, bitch.
But the thing about me is I'm not doing one little open hand slap that I accidentally get a nail. Like I'm going for blood. I'm going to make it worth it. And then when the restraining order is filed, I'm like, you know what? I had that coming. Judge, yep. I apologize. But did you hear what she did to my best friend? Because fuck that, right?
And the judge is like, right, but
you need to go back to therapy. Kevin?
Okay. Another bombshell was that Katie said that something stuck out to her at BravoCon when Raquel was wearing the Tom hoodie
pick me
with barely anything under it with the sunglasses, just trying to be the cool girl. I think Raquel is desperately trying to be as cool as Ariana. Like Ariana is very effortlessly cool. She has her own personality, her own style.
Ariana is thank you for bringing this up because this is the perfect example of like there are traits that Ariana has that some people would be like, oh, pick me, but it's not pick me because that's just her. Right? Raquel is trying so hard to be like Ariana, it just screams pick me.
Right.
Like you're not that effortless. She is. So you're pick me. You all of a sudden you're a pageant girl and you're drinking Coors Light. Bitch,
right.
Please.
And so Raquel shows up to BravoCon with the Toms. She wasn't scheduled to be there with the Toms. She shows up in the Tom sweatshirt, fueling rumors about her and Schwartz, which is so weird looking back now, like how they were able to like fuel those rumors with Schwartz when she's hooking up with Sandoval, flirting with Sandoval, even though Sandoval was like, oh, it was only one time and then we didn't hook up for a long time after that. But
liar.
Still, okay, let's say in a fake fantasy world, that's true. You're still clearly having an emotional affair with her at that time.
At the very least.
And you guys all three are in some sick fucking throuple where you think it's funny to hurt Katie.
At this point, Schwartz is in on it at that point.
Yes.
He's in on it.
Yes. And they're doing it to intentionally hurt Katie while low-key building this fucking like battlefield against Ariana. I don't even know what to call it. Like the worst betrayal I've ever seen. And so the reason why I brought that up is because Katie confronted Schwartz. She's like, your little fangirl is following you around BravoCon. He goes, trust me, she's not there for me. And now we know.
And then conveniently, I said that.
I didn't say that. And then when Katie confronts Schwartz about that, I didn't say that. Yes, you did.
Did I? No.
Okay, we'll have to get to that because that was like a whole other fucking thing. Like, hello, Schwartz is a liar. Schwartz is a liar. Okay, so they also bring up the Billy Lee of it all, which I don't know if we'll ever get answers on that, which I hope we do.
Me too.
Okay, we go to James's house. Our king.
Fucking love.
We needed this. Scene. We needed this with James
because James is. I don't know. I don't remember. It might have been season. Fuck, I don't remember. Like 4 or 5. I don't know.
They all blend together when you just binge them all in like
I know,
a day.
But there was a time where I could not see a world that I loved James Kennedy, and I love James Kennedy.
Oh my God. He was like one of the girls.
Whenever he was like so drunk at Sheena's first wedding and like
Sheena's first wedding.
At Sheena's first wedding and he's acting a damn fool and Kristen is like hitting him and he like that I was like I will never like this man. I love this man.
I know. That's my man. Okay, first of all, Allie is a queen for being able to be so confident and strong and like support James during this while
without,
also
like feeding into it.
She's not feeding into it. She's supporting it. And she's also not taking it personally that he's so upset that his ex hooked up with one of his friends.
Yeah, she's like letting him feel all of his feelings. And I appreciate that about
I know.
her.
Like, we could all learn a thing or two from Allie.
She's been to therapy.
She's been to therapy more times than us, honey. Okay. So James then decides to call Raquel.
A prank call, basically. Like...
It was basically a prank call. It was like you and your girlfriend's like, I'm just gonna call them. And
he's like I'm gonna call you guys. Be quiet, okay? That was my favorite. And then which one was like I have to go to the kitchen? Wait, Allie and someone else like they had to like leave because they knew they were gonna laugh. I'm like I felt that.
He was so funny.
I'm gonna call you guys. Be quiet, okay?
He was like, so what are you and Sandoval together now? And she goes, no. The way she answered the phone too was like, hello.
He said something about you're on Sandoval's little poppycock. Poppycock? I thought it was cocky cock.
Poppycock. And he said, how do you feel about like having no one left around you? How do you feel about having 0 friends? You've literally ruined every single relationship you've ever built in LA. And she was like, I don't feel good about it. I want to slap her through the phone. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. But keep talking because like we don't get enough of you. And then he was like, let's be honest, you're not very smart. The smartest thing you've ever done was hooking up with Tom Sandoval.
True.
Like literally name something that she's ever done that was smart. Okay, so then
she can't even give a toast.
And James was so patient with her. He was literally like feeding her lines at their engagement party. Like I bet he looks back on that now. Like Allie would never
Write a script.
Just
literally write it down on a piece of paper.
Write it on your fucking phone. We all have an iPhone these days.
You always have your phone. No books. Like you have options and you can truly.
Speaking of notebooks, I don't know if this made it into the episode, but on Paige's notes, the top of it says February 11th, 2023, the day before your 30th birthday.
Okay, shout out to Mike and Sam.
Wait, your 31st birthday.
My 31st.
Oh, yeah,
shout out to Mike and Sam. They gave me this notebook along with this pen. And when I got it, I said, I'm going to write my first entry in it tonight. And so I wrote the date and then I didn't write any entry.
Until now. This is a perfect time to
then
start.
I said, LOL JK, May 17th, 2023.
Okay, so then we get to the big shebang. Tom and Raquel. This is where I wrote, Raquel is summoning pre-therapy Paige. Yeah. This was the most awkward display of two people that are quote unquote in love that I've ever seen. When Tom Sandoval and Ariana got together after the whole Chris and Dodie thing, you could see it. You're like, okay, like they do have such a deep connection. They do have so much chemistry. They do seem like best friends. These two people seem like they are excited to be sneaking around.
But also the way that as soon as he like walked through the door, she embraced him with like this hug that was so different than any hug we've seen them embrace. that's how I know he's more evil than she is, because she thinks this is real. And he thinks this is real for now.
I think he thinks like this is feeding my ego, and she thinks this is real.
She thinks this is real. So
she's also really dumb.
She's really, really dumb, but she also wants to be Ariana, right? She wants to be his ride or die, his new ride or die. So she is she is a puppy dog. She's so excited to see him because she will do anything for this man.
I just had a revelation, and I also think that like her being this like pageant queen, she obviously is seeking some sort of validation from people, and she's also seeking some sort of fame from people. That's why I think she really liked James, and James is like a personality. When he goes to towns, people are like, oh my god, DJ James Kennedy is DJing, and there's about like 500 people that'll show up, and she gets attention. And then it's like Tom Sandoval has been on the show forever. He's probably a little bit more well known, and I think that she got off on that. And I think like she got off on like being in like Tom and Tom, because like they're opening Shorts and Sandy's, they have Tom, they're super close with Lisa, whereas like James is a DJ. And I think she got off on the fact that like, oh, I could see myself like walking into Tom, walking into Shorts and Sandy. I think she like likes that kind of like clout.
Yeah, I agree.
And she's also like trying to be some sort of influencer, which like influencing what? Literally what?
You got to be relatable to be an influencer. You gotta, like, and girl, we cannot relate to you at all. We don't know what the fuck you're saying or what you're doing.
The way that he said Tom pulls out a Coors Light, which like as Miller Lite girlies, what do you think?
Well, here's the thing. Personally, I'm not one to beer shame.
Right.
Truly, I'm not. And
because if there's a Coors Light, I'll drink it.
Definitely. And under the same umbrella company,
right.
Yeah. It was more like her chasing her shot with that beer as if.
Yes. Like Raquel's ever just like drank a Coors Light, and she had so much Coors Light in her fridge, probably because she knows my man likes Coors Light.
Yeah, probably because she like bought a case to like have in there when he comes over, but like she never drinks it.
Right. And then they start kind of like reasoning themselves into this like really horrible situation that they've got themselves into. We're just two people who were friends who happen to fall in love.
No,
you're not.
That's the narrative you want to spin.
No, this is what actually happened.
Because that's what worked the first time.
He was in a long-term relationship with a woman who they owned a house together, and they have been together for a very long time. You were newly in the group because you and your fiance broke up.
And you only stayed in the group because Ariana
and Sheena, out of the kindness of their heart,
defended you. And they said, we are going to be your friends.
And then they allowed you to get close to their men, and then
they both trusted you in bed with their men.
Which, by the way, who would ever fucking trust their man in bed with anyone? I'm sorry, like, no, that would never be a situation.
There's a floor. If there's a bed, there's a floor. I can promise you that. If there's a bed, there's a floor.
That's like when people were like, would you trust your boyfriend in bed with Raquel? No. I would not trust my boyfriend to get the fuck out of that situation.
I trust my boyfriend to get on the floor.
Yeah, get on the floor. Get in an Uber.
And if my friend's boyfriend is not getting on the floor, I'm getting on the floor.
Right. Exactly. I'm calling my friend saying, oh my God, what do I do? Do you want me to get an Uber out of here? It just would never happen.
I could truly, if there's a bed, there's a floor. But end of story.
There we go.
Literally, end of story.
If there's a bed, there's a floor. The way they were like, and we see this also in the trailer for the reunion, where they're like, they're making us out to be these liar, manipulative people, and we know we're not.
But you
are. You are. Why can't you just own up to the fact that you are fucking liars?
And that is, I think, what is the fuel to this fire.
Yeah.
Because if they, at least when they got caught, if they would have just owned it and been like, we're so shitty. We're so shitty. This isn't how we wanted it to go down. We're really sorry. We've been sneaky for the past 7 fucking months. probably longer. But like, if they would have at least owned it, there wouldn't be as much fuel to feed this fire. It would be like, okay, well, what do you expect someone to say if they're owning the truth and acknowledging it and in standing up for at least their poor actions?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they just keep fucking lying.
Yeah. And it was really wild for her to say, her talking about Sheena hitting her, which like we've already talked about. It just kind of is like, why don't you just fucking realize that, you know what, violence isn't the answer, but sometimes it kind of is necessary, and you deserve it.
Because here's the thing, it's not like, because it was so reactionary, which again, not the right thing. I know this, it's not the right thing, but it happens. But and you are the one that's so in the fucking wrong. You know that the reason you were keeping this a secret is because you knew that if and when this comes out, it's going to be huge, that someone might have this reaction. And like, I do believe even if Sheena like touched her in the face, whatever, it wasn't like a 1-2 punch. It was like a one, like a get away from me.
It was like a chaotic like scramble.
Like Sheena definitely doesn't even do kickboxing. You know what I mean? Like,
right. And that's the thing where it's like violence isn't the answer when it's like you versus Tyson, but violence might be the answer when it's me versus you. And
well, that was the answer one time.
And it was the answer one time. And it's not like,
and the reason I didn't meet you with that violence is because I knew I would kill you.
You literally put me in a headlock.
So I had to bear hug you, and I was like, you done?
But it's like, yes, violence isn't the answer, but not all violence is equal. Not all violence, like it'd be like, okay, if Tom Sandoval versus Sheena, yeah, not equal. Sheena versus Raquel,
Sheena
equal.
is with literally
and
me and you right now. They're on a show together, thinking they are friends, thinking everything is hunky-dory, right?
Who's hunky-dory?
Exactly. And then the ball drops, and this person that you've been in this close proximity with, like Sheena cannot get far enough away quick enough. She's like, who is this person?
Well,
oops,
and we've seen Raquel like put her hands to like console somebody before. I feel like it was probably all a blur. I truly don't blame Sheena.
Yeah, because
I think Raquel's being a little pussy bitch for not standing and owning her actions and just being like, you know what? Maybe I fucking deserve that.
Well, exactly, because bitch, you did deserve it. And because like Sheena said, she's like, I don't know if my nail like hit her,
whatever,
or if she like, because she could have seen like a push coming and like tried to, you know, like, yeah, like jerk away and like hit her head into something, like not knowing. I do that all the time.
They probably both don't know exactly what happened because it was like in such the heat of the moment.
But it's like that, whatever that scenario was, it wasn't a prolonged thing. Like after that first little reaction happened, it's not like Sheena stayed there and was like, bam, bam, bam. You know what I mean?
Which you would be doing.
That's what I would be doing. That's why I would deserve the restraining order. But we know that Sheena didn't do that. Like Sheena knew it was like a one and done, like, oh my God, what is happening? I don't know. I can't comprehend.
Yeah. And then Raquel talking about losing all of her friends. I have no one. I have literally no one.
What did you expect?
And what did you expect? You know that you just you know how these people roll. If these are your best friends, you know how they fucking roll.
And the only one that always had your back, you fucked over.
Yeah. The worst way you possibly could. Okay, so then Ariana goes to Lisa's house, which that got me too, because you know when like you are just finally in the presence of somebody who's like a motherly figure to you, where you can just let it go. That was Lisa to her. And Lisa said something that we've already mentioned, but she said, I didn't think she was that capable of being that secretive and sneaky. And we all go, AKA being smart. None of us thought that Raquel had that kind of capability.
Also, for anyone who's maybe thinking we're being a little too harsh on Raquel, I don't care. I don't care. She did it to herself.
And I also write here, the cerebral difference between Raquel and Ariana is astounding. Because if you put these two together toe to toe in any sort of like debate situation, Ariana would eviscerate Raquel.
And you know, something that just popped into my head.
What?
Is the reason me saying like I don't care about the whole Raquel thing? It's because there was like, you know, controversy with Stassi about like, do we like Stassi or not? Like that was a thing, right? Because Stassi was a bitch, right?
Yeah.
But the difference between, there's a lot of things that are different, but like Stassi knew she was a bitch, and Stassi would be like, I am a bitch and I don't care. So it's like she's owning herself and I'm going to move forward, right?
Yeah.
And that is the number one thing. If you, and that is why I love Stassi, right? Like she is who she is.
She's chaotic good.
You like some of the things she does, you don't like some of the things she does, but she is who she is, and she's aware of all of the things that she does, so you respect it. If Raquel had any ounce of awareness and accountability, there would be more respect than what we're seeing now, and that's why I don't feel bad.
Right. And Stassi has a very clear moral compass. Like, it's a very clear what's
hers
right.
Is actually black and white.
Right. Because Stassi is you.
I know.
Stassi is totally you. Raquel is like a little floundering fish. She doesn't know who she is. She doesn't know what she stands for. She stands for nothing. The best way people would describe Raquel was like, oh, she's so nice. She's so nice. First of all, nice isn't a personality trait. Nice is like, you can be like sassy and nice.
Ariana was nice. Because she was kind to the people that didn't have everyone in their
Ariana
corner.
is nice too,
and that is
Ariana
her
has
real personality.
Ariana
trait.
has so much other parts of her aspects of her personality,
but Ariana is like genuine nice, and Raquel is like pageant nice. Like
she's
surface,
dumb nice.
She's like shiny nice.
She's like uncomfortable nice. Like, what do you do when you're in a situation where you don't know anyone? You're just nice because you don't know any better. Okay, so then we go to Schwartz going over to Katie's house to bring the dogs over. And this is something that like we all clocked that was so funny. He's like, hey, can I grab like a Coke or something? He reaches into Katie's fridge and gets out a Coors Light. Like, why don't you just say, can I have a beer for this conversation? And then he pours it into a glass.
I was going to say, and then
like,
pours
why?
it into a glass.
Like, he's making himself like right at home.
I also don't like beer out of a glass.
And typical Schwartz fashion. Hey, how's Ariana doing?
Bitch, you ask her yourself.
Shut the fuck
You know
up,
how she's
you
doing.
little pussy ass bitch. You just sent her the longest, most pathetic excuse of a text message to check up on somebody who is such a good friend that you made them a groomsman in your wedding. I don't want to beat the guy while he's down. Shut the fuck up. Okay. And then I love how Katie knows Schwartz so well, and she's had a fucking enough with him after all the bullshit he put her through this summer. So she goes, how long have you known? I didn't mark it on my calendar. And she's like,
first of all, that fucking response, I want to punch you in the face. I didn't mark it on my calendar.
The answer.
Like, truly, bitch, please.
You're like, you give me
because that is what, like, when you're trying to cover up a lie. I didn't mark it on my calendar. Oh my god, Jade, you want to know an exact date? You're insane. Like, truly do less.
And then when she confronts him about the thing he said at BravoCon about how Raquel isn't, trust me, she's not doing this for me, and he goes, I didn't say that. And she's like, yes, you did. And he goes, did I?
I don't remember saying that.
And then Katie also hit the nail on the fucking head when she said, you and I both know that Tom Sandoval's ego would not be able to handle that his friend was pursuing his girl.
Facts.
And she goes, so why don't you shock everyone and tell the truth for once?
Loved
that was because so good.
Honestly, that would be shocking.
The girls on tonight's episode were so articulate and well-spoken and clear, and they just united. And that's what we like to see. And this is women supporting women.
And this is also because these men have somehow separated these women for in one way or another.
Yes.
And you know what? When push comes to shove, when it really fucking matters, the women pull together because they're the ones that know what the fuck is up.
And look, when push comes to shove with them, they are fucking floundering the men on this show.
Yep.
Tom Schwartz doesn't know whether to support or do what.
And he just says, I don't condone it. I don't support this man, but I don't want to get down on the guy. And then Sandy, he's like, oh, we just have a real connection. Like, bleh.
Yeah, so we still don't really know Schwartz's timeline, and we're obviously going to get some sort of confrontation about that on the reunion. Because
I think that we're going to figure, because when on Watch What Happens Live, when Andy said, are there any lingering questions that you have about the affair? And she said, no, I have all of my answers.
Mm-hmm.
You
think we're going to get
that we're going to get more. Yeah, I think we're going to get the timeline and we're going to get more answers.
We see Lala confront him and she's like, oh, you guys didn't get your timelines matched up for this, which was fucking genius. Okay, so then Dodie enters the chat, which it was okay. Overall, I think we both agree we needed the Dodie aspect of this because we need to put to bed that this was the same thing that happened with Ariana and Dodie. This is not the same.
But it is. I think that Tom was hoping it was going to be the same. I think that he thought, oh, I've done this before and it kind of went under the radar. I can do the same thing again. He is just not smart enough to realize how different it is.
Yes. And we are all smart enough as viewers to understand how different
Dodie realizes how different it is.
Right. And even her, she's like, that's pish posh. Like, she's like, nothing.
This is literally not about me.
And I always just like, Ariana has this like cute, charming quality to her that I've always like really liked in her. And it especially was displayed when she was hugging Kristen and they were talking about Kristen's ex-boyfriend and Ariana was like, our ex-boyfriend. Yeah. And that was just so cute.
She's just likable.
And when they were like outside, like burning shit, and Ariana goes, ashes to ashes and dust to side chicks. And she goes, that's Beyonce. Which is cute. So, okay. Why did I write me and Raquel? I need more emphasis on Raquel. Okay. That was one thing I was kind of struggling with because I'm like, yes, fuck the patriarchy. The blame should be on Tom, but also I really don't feel like this episode, like enough of the blame was on Raquel. I want them to burn fucking Raquel.
No, I agree. And I think it's bullshit that they let her dip out. Like, yeah, I think that's so annoying. They let her dip out. Again, if you're going to be a big girl and have an affair, then put on your big girl panties and talk to the fucking cameras, because
which is also the difference between Ariana and Raquel, because when Ariana did that, she was a big girl. She came, she talked to the cameras, and she's also has a brain enough to like be able to explain and talk about it.
Also, can we go back to the fact that whenever Sheena and Tom were talking and she said, yeah, I had your back all the time, even with like Miami Girl. And she's like, even though I knew, like, I always thought
we're going to get
happen.
to that. We're going to get to that. Okay. So then the girls go out to drinks. And I love how all the girls just show up in like casual black. And then Ariana is in this like fucking revenge low like V-neck gold sparkly dress. She looked fucking amazing. By the way,
she was like a V belly button.
All the girls on this episode looked really good when they were crying and could never be me.
Yeah. Because we're not Rachel McAdams.
No, we're not.
That's like a thing.
I know, like Kelly Clarkson says. Okay. So I love that Ariana's drink I wrote down Midnight Vultures was Ariana's drink, which kind of is like, it was kind of them that night. Like Midnight Vultures, they are feasting on the dead. They're feasting on the dead carcasses of Tom Schwartz and Tom Sandoval. Okay. So
Sandoval.
Yes. Sheena gave Raquel a place to live, which I think is just so wild that she was hooking up with Sandoval behind it's just like disgusting. Okay, so then Tom Schwartz shows up And that was also very emotional because I feel like that is such a betrayal from somebody who just like totes himself to be like this likable, charming guy. It's like, no, this isn't, because you're complicit, and so you're guilty.
Okay, but I'm not even shocked in the slightest. The episode before, he literally was like, oh, it's so weird. I thought when I approached Katie and her mom, they'd be like, oh, Tommy, you little slut, let's have a laugh and just move on. And it's like, he lives in a very delusional world. He does not get it. Like, he doesn't get it.
Because I wrote co-conspirator on there. Is that when he said, like, I'm not a co-conspirator?
I have no idea.
Okay. Also, he was saying, like, I told him, like, he needed to address it. And she goes, I'm not an it.
Yeah.
That was good. That was so good. And I love how Ariana set very, very clear boundaries with everyone in this episode. She said, I'm not going to have any friends in my life that are mutual friends with Tom. Yep. So, like, we're not going to be friends.
Yep.
And I think that, like, really killed Tom Schwartz because he has no idea how not to have his cake and eat it too.
Yep.
And I love that they did that.
Same.
And then, okay, so then we end it on Sheena and Tom, where we get that little bombshell that you were just talking about. So he comes over, and I like how Brock was just like, you fucked it all up for all of us. Thanks, man.
Truly.
Yeah. And Sheena is like so fucking upset. And I think that's what really got me too, because you can tell how much she loves Ariana with how upset she is by this whole thing.
Well, and the thing about Sheena is, like, even though she's always been on the wrong side of history, she always thought she was on the right side of history until she realized she wasn't. And once she finds out that she's not, she's like, fuck, how is this happening again? Like, she always ends up and that is another reason why we still like Sheena, because she will never be, Raquel will never even be like that. Like, Sheena will at least be like, fuck, like, how did I not see this? Like, how am I in the wrong? Like, how did I have, like, the wrong thought? Raquel's like...
Yeah. Like, Raquel doesn't even have, like, a half a brain to even do that. Mm-hmm. So we get some new news that Tom Sandoval was lashing out at Sheena when Sheena found out about Ariana, or about him and Raquel. And he was saying that basically, like, Sheena means nothing to him, that their friendship's fake, all this stuff, which is like, I think to Sheena that like means a lot because she actually holds weight. And like, if he said that to me, I'd be like, good, fuck you, because like I wouldn't really trust anything he said at that point.
Yeah, but the thing is season 1, Sheena was the like, there was the mean girls, right? And Sheena really found her main comfort with the guys because the girls were so much trying to make her other.
Right.
So it's, I mean, since day 1, that's like kind of how it's been. Obviously, cast change, whatever, but.
Yeah. So that actually really reminded me of Mark as well, because Mark would always lash out and be like, he would say things that he didn't mean, and then he would come back to me and be like, I didn't mean that. And like crying, the way Tom Sandoval cried on that episode, like truly gave me a shiver down my spine. It was Mark.
No, it made me, well, the time that made me happy was when he was at Lisa's house, because
having a panic attack,
that made me think, like, I want to see him realize what he did, because the other times he cried, it was very much like fake. Tyson, like, I only did this because I love you so much, like, because if I didn't love you, I wouldn't act this way.
Right.
But the one with Lisa, I was like, you finally are seeing, you're finally realizing that, like, you can't just make up a lie to cover this one up. Like, you're fucked. And I like that genuine
See, I didn't like
terror.
Seeing him like that.
Oh, I did. Cry, baby, cry.
Okay, and so then she's talking about how she always stuck up for them, and even when she knew that she didn't believe Tom, which meant Miami Girl. And Tom says Ariana has always known the truth about that, which was like,
so you fucked her,
obviously. And then it's I've seen like a lot of stuff pop up on TikTok of like them being
Where
like,
the fuck is Miami Girl on TikTok?
I know. We need Miami Girl on TikTok. But I saw this one Watch What Happens Live where they called in and they were like, do you think that like Tom really didn't cheat on the Miami Girl? And Ariana's like, I know he didn't. And like they both were clearly just like,
I know he did.
Didn't. And they both were clearly just like covering.
Because they were ride and dies.
Right, because she was ride or die for him. She was
Because
ride or
it's
die
like,
for him.
Because it's like, hey, you know what? Thank you for telling me this off camera. So like me and you are still ride and dies. I hate you for it, but like respect you that you told me the truth.
And
so
now we're gonna protect.
So I'm gonna
us.
protect you. I'm gonna protect us.
And then he says that there was one other time, and he said he didn't want to get into it. So that's what we really need the sisters to do some digging and find out.
Because
But Ariana, even on Watch What Happens Live, she was like, I don't know for sure, so I don't want to say, and then like blow up this girl's life. So I don't think she knows for sure. So
I think she knows.
She's got to know.
I think that whoever she thinks
It is.
yes.
Yeah.
100%.
She knows. And then Sheena has like a good little like monologue. And then all I wrote was Sheena is a good fucking friend. Team fucking Sheena.
Yeah.
And then that was like it.
Yeah. Sheena said exactly what it was. There's no excuse. Tom was like, I tried to break up with her. She said she was going to kill herself. No, that is still not the excuse. We pick up the pieces. The family picks up the pieces. The friends pick up the pieces. You do whatever. If you're not feeling it, you leave.
Yeah.
End of story. Good night.
Good night. Goodbye. You have the worst mustache and singing voice I have ever heard in my life.
As her saying like, as much as it hurts me, I can never be your friend.
Yeah.
Like, good fucking friend. Good friend to both sides, right?
Yeah.
Good friend to tell him straight up, you are basically a piece of shit, and because of the actions that you chose, I don't agree with, and I cannot be friends with you. So just to make sure there's no question, I cannot be friends with you. And, you know, good friend to Ariana, because it's like, hey, I'm going to straight up tell him I can't be friends with him. So
right.
Fucking wild.
Okay, one last thing. Tom Sandoval was just spotted in Austin, Texas, of all places. He was
Shut the fuck
Wait,
up.
you didn't know
I did
about
not
this?
know.
Yes, he was spotted at Equinox with a blonde. And then he was also spotted at the Proper, which was one of my favorite spots.
You know that my friend works at Equinox.
Really?
Yes.
Let's get the scoop.
I know.
Okay.
You should tell me as soon as you hear these things.
Okay. I thought you knew. It's like all over the internet.
No.
Okay, so ask your friend. And also they were spotted at the Proper Hotel Bar, which is, if you're ever in Austin, that is such a fabulous people watching bar. It's like a really cool.
Is that the line?
No, it's the Proper.
Which one's the Proper?
It's like downtown, kind of close to Seaholm.
You're okay.
It's where the Peacock restaurant is. And I love that hotel bar, but also it's like always so overcrowded, and it's like such a like scene down there.
Yeah.
Like it's
like that's such a, we're going on a first date. I've been on several first dates there. It's such a,
yeah. Like you go there and like you,
if I'm Tom Sandoval, I'm not going there.
yeah, I would like go so many other places in Austin. Like once you step foot in that fucking hotel bar, which by the way, yeah, you like see there's a million fucking people who are going to be taking pictures of you, which they did. He was on a date with a girl with blonde hair and she had a little Pomeranian in her purse.
And it was Raquel with a wig.
No.
Wow.
But we did hear on Watch What Happens Live that Raquel is sending Sandoval letters. And they're supposedly broken up, but I don't believe
you better believe if I was Ariana, I'd be opening those letters.
Obviously. You would be like opening up the letters and like very meticulously and then like resealing them. Yeah.
And his dumbass wouldn't even know.
Yeah. Wow. Let's see where we're at right now. I think this is a great time to, it's an hour. This is like a full episode. This isn't even a mini. So this was like triggering for both of us, but especially you. I feel like you just had a therapy session.
Yeah. And I just have to say, everybody, don't cancel us.
We're not going to be canceled. What did we do to say?
I don't know, because I said I was going to strangle people. I said that
no, some people deserve to be strangled.
Like violence is sometimes the answer. And like technically,
violence is.
Technically, I know. If
you've ever had a sister,
however,
you know violence is sometimes the answer.
Sometimes the unspoken answer is
a slap in the face.
You know, so
a non-clenched fist slap in the face.
Because what Raquel's sister needs to do is shake her and be like, bitch, admit to these fucking faults and just land on the fucking sword, and just everything will blow over so much faster if you just fucking own up to it.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. If Sandy Brandt has told me anything, it's you do not do anything that you don't want your mother to know about. Right?
100%.
And so some of you may question some of the things that I do. There's not one thing that I do that I would not be embarrassed that I would be embarrassed to tell my mom and dad about. I tell my mom and dad about everything, probably more than they even want to know. I tell my mom and dad things about Jade, about Bailey, and they're like, fuck, I am literally the mouth of the South, okay? If there was ever one thing that I was like, fuck, like my mom can't know about this, then I'm immediately not doing it, because that is my moral compass. You know what I mean? And that is what Raquel's sister or mom or somebody needs to shake into her. And it's like, because the other thing that mom taught us is like, bitch, if you're gonna lie, you're gonna reap the consequences. Like, own it and deal with it.
Right.
Deal with, you made this bed, now lie in it. And it's gonna suck for a little bit, but you know what? It will blow over unless you keep lying. The more you lie, we are going to uncover every little thing that ever happened. Anyways.
Wow. That was a mic drop. I think we need to end it on that.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you share this episode with all your friends, because I feel like it's like actually like a really, really, really good episode. And I feel good about it.
I feel great about it.
Yeah. I feel like we can rest our little heads easy. Make sure to comment, tell us what you think, get in on the conversation, share this with all of your friends. We need to grow this podcast, honey, like we say every week.
Let us know. Maybe on Spotify you can do a poll if they think we should stream live next week and then do a recap, like live reactions during the part 1 and then do a recap episode.
Yeah, let us know what you guys want.
Yeah.
All right.
And obviously make sure to go rate us a 5-star rating. I'm not kidding.
I think we deserve it.
Guys, I see these things, and you know what? Whenever you leave a comment, I read every single one of those, the good ones and the bad ones. But leave a good one saying that you're a pager.
Or a jader.
A tater.
A tater tot.
We have tater tots, pagers, and left girls.
All right. Bye now.
Bye now.